The news headlines: Akwa Ibom State Government takes steps to increase its revenue base. Commissioner for Education says government is laying structures for the economic and technological development of the state. 2015 receipt and final examination results of the Nigeria Law School released. Details of these and other stories in just a moment. Top of the morning, and thanks for joining us on the news. I am Samuel Udofia. In an effort to deliver on the mandate to reposition the Internal Revenue Service, the Chairman, State Internal Revenue Service and Permanent Secretary Budget Office, Pastor Nicholas Ekarika, has been meeting with various authorities and organizations involved in the revenue collection in the state. AKBC News reporter, who has been monitoring activities in the Internal Revenue Service, reports that some of the meetings were held behind closed doors. The reporter observes that so far the chairman has met with Motor Licensing Authority, Tax Authority, Revenue Court, Assessment Authority, the consultants to the service, directors and management of the Board of Internal Revenue. Though the contents of the meetings were not made public, AKBC News reporter understands that the activities are aimed at repositioning the Internal Revenue Service. Though the chairman, Pastor Nicholas Ekarika, declined comments on the contents of the meetings, AKBC News further observed that the state government is committed to strengthening and repositioning its revenue machinery with a view to increasing the internally generated base, which could perhaps be the reason for the serial meetings. The Commissioner for Transport, Prince Godwin Tugude, has described as unacceptable the re-emergence of illegal motor parks at Akar Road beside UBA, Overhead Bridge by Calabar-Itu Highway, Overhead Bridge by Ikorekwane Road, and Uraipa Road by Calabar-Itu Highway. Prince Godwin Tugude, in an interview, enumerated the dangers posed. Prince Godwin Tugude, in an interview, enumerated the dangers posed by such activities and warned that government will no longer fold its arms and watch people flout laid-down directives, causing gridlock on public highway. The Commissioner advised those behind the act to return to the approved motor parks in the state capital or be ready to face the wrath of the law. Henceforth, all financial transactions and taxes involving the state government will be paid into banks. Such payments are to be made only into state government approved accounts with tellers and duly stamped printout forwarded to the State Internal Revenue Service. The acting chairman of the State Internal Revenue Service, Pastor Nicholas Ekarika, gave the directive during his maiden meeting with assessment authorities and motor licensing officers in the 31 local government areas of the state. Yainofo takes us there.
The State Internal Revenue Service is responsible for collecting the bulk of internally generated revenue for the state government. Going by its mandate as contained in the State Board of Internal Revenue Law of 1999, the agency has powers to assess and collect all taxes, levies, fees, and penalties due to the state government using relevant laws. As part of its effort to revitalize its revenue machinery, the state government assigned the Permanent Secretary, Budget Office, Pastor Nicholas Ekarika, the responsibility of overseeing the smooth running of Internal Revenue Service, pending the appointment of a substantive chairman. Pastor Ekarika, in performing his duties, has been meeting with relevant groups that are involved in revenue generations and groups. One of such meetings was with stakeholders in the revenue sector as part of the strategies to rake in additional funds into government coffers. Pastor Ekarika called on revenue officers to always direct taxpayers to go to bank and pay only into government accounts, stressing that the period of diverting entry was over. He said the time is now for the state to look inward and evolve ways to generate revenue internally rather than wait entirely for federal allocation. The Permanent Secretary commended government's initiative of injecting new blood into the system and expressed his readiness to discharge his new assignment to the best of his ability. Pastor Ikarika, who assured them of improved welfare, urged revenue personnel to work in harmony with the new consulting firm, Emerson Consult Limited, to meet the state's revenue benchmark.
We will do everything possible to generate revenue internally and make sure that we ease out something that federal allocation would have been, reserved for capital development. His Excellency come on the platform of industrialization, and we know what it means. Women empowerment and youth empowerment. And then we'll know that it is also coming on the platform of employment generation.
The representative of Emerson Consult Limited, Mr. Mfone Yoma, promised to change the face of Internal Revenue Service by working towards enhancing the state revenue profile.
Our system that we are implementing is open. Okay? The deans will see what the authorities are collecting. We are going digital. The era, and please hear me very correctly, the era of manual receipts, manual clearance certificates is over.
Participants at the meeting listed some factors militating against effective tax collection in the state and called for effective media awareness on the need for payment of tax, improved welfare for revenue officers, as well as training and retraining for efficiency.
I'm happy that what we were looking for, the PS, who is our man, when we defended our budget, we tabled our problem before him. Fortunately, he's here. He knows most of our problem. Might be 90% of our problem in this internal revenue.
I want to assure you that we are going to cooperate with you.
Etienne Oibanga reporting.
The Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Mr. Monday Uko, has restated government's resolve to always commit the state to God. Mr. Uko stated this while receiving members of the Akwa Ibom State Christian Youth Leaders Forum. The story is presented in our studios.
Represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. Nseidem, the Commissioner enjoined youths in the state to exhibit Christian virtues and change the orientation of our youth to live a godly life in order to bring sanity to the larger society. He described Mr. Udom Emmanuel as God-fearing governor who is committed to youth development, as he has sponsored 200 youths in skill acquisition abroad. The Commissioner reiterated the ministry's readiness to impact positively on youths and advise them to refrain from societal vices which are inimical to their growth.
Everything we do day in, day out, it is widely open before God. So I try to advise young people wherever I have an opportunity that try to do those things that will protect you. Because when you are not protected, their life is at stake.
Earlier, the president of the Akwa Ibom State Christian Youth Leaders Forum, Evangelist Ubong Ituen, said the forum is an umbrella for youth leaders in all Bible-believing churches, which seeks to edify the body of Christ, as well as repositioning youth to imbibe good Christian values. He pledged the forum's support for the present administration in the state.
Our aims are to rebrand our youths to fear and put God first in everything they do, rather than seek personal gratification. To raise youths who are willing to stand for one Akwa Ibom state. To raise youths who believe in the transformation of Akwa Ibom and are committed and willing to sacrifice to make it happen. To raise youths who are disciplined and willing to take leadership responsibilities anytime, anywhere, and under any condition, among others.
In a related development, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Nseidem, has called on professional footballers in the state to bring their wealth of experience to bear in salvaging the dwindling performance of the state's football teams. He made the charge while receiving the executive officers of the Akwa Ibom State chapter of Association of Professional Footballers of Nigeria, APFON. The permanent secretary described football as a unifying factor for the people of Akwa Ibom State and pledged the support of his ministry to the activities of APFON.
How can we now help our team to grow as professionals? How can we as a people you know about football?
The third chairman of APFON, Comrade Maurice Silas, said his organization was at the ministry as part of its familiarity tour of 2015. Comrade Silas described the permanent secretary as a role model for young people of the state and sought the support of the ministry to enable APFON function effectively.
The Association of Professional Footballers of Nigeria is the official players union recognized by the Nigerian Football Federation, recognized by Federation of International Football Federation, FIFA, and is also recognized by Akwa Ibom State Football Association. It is the official players representative, and specifically we are here because we know that as the engine room of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, as it regards formulation of policy and implementation, our partnering with you will improve our players in terms of the collaborations, in terms of contracts, and taking care of their welfare.
In his remarks, the Director of Sports, Coach Anedi Dixon, himself a retired footballer, charged the association to explore means of improving the welfare of footballers, adding that the state government was prepared to partner APFON in the discharge of its duties.
The state is putting structures for economic and technological development of the state. The Commissioner for Education, Elder Aniaka Nakwan, stated this while on inspection visit to Skills Development Center, Ikot Akbamba, in Nsurubiom local government area. Elder Akban said government is committed to providing qualitative skill training for youths to become self-reliant, adding that government will assist the center acquire more machines and equipment to enable it attain optimum standard. According to the Commissioner, the graduates of the Skill Acquisition Center will be given a starter financial package and called on well-placed citizens, corporate organizations and groups to team up with government in youth development. Speaking on the occasion, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Skills Acquisition Development, Dr. Marjorie Abasiodion, enjoined young people to embrace the Skills Acquisition Program of the state government, which she identified as a panacea for self-development. Briefing the Commissioner during the visit, the Executive Secretary of Akwa Ibom State Life Enhancement Agency, Ms. Udwak Antai, and the Skills Acquisition Development Center said the Skills Acquisition Development Center at Ikot Akbamba, since establishment, has trained and graduated more than 150 persons in data processing, catering, hotel management, soap making, welding and fabrication, as well as dressmaking and fashion designing. She said the center has 125 trainees and 9 part-time instructors. Ms. Antai listed inadequate staff, vehicles, hostel accommodation for the trainees as some of the challenges facing the center. Elder Akpan was accompanied by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Rosemary Estienne, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Skills Acquisition Development, Dr. Marjorie Abasiodion, Special Assistant to the Governor on Schools Monitoring, Mrs. Sarah Eserikot, and directors in the ministry. You're watching AKBC TV News at dawn. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We are a threatened generation, stalked in the consciousness of militarization. Failure to debrief our citizens leads to impunity on the part of leadership. The greatest office is neither that of the executive nor the legislature, but the citizens. Democracy returns power to the people. State of the nation, updating your political consciousness for political relevance and proper integration.
Thanks for staying there. You're still watching the news, and I'm Samuel Udofia. 18 students of Tower of Ivory schools in the Abak local government area who have completed their senior secondary education in the school have been sent off by the school. The ceremony, which took place at the school's grounds, also featured graduation of junior secondary 3 students to senior secondary 1. Eyano Paul reports that the event was attended by parents and friends of the graduates, including the State Chief Judge, Justice Stephen Okon. The report.
The third graduation ceremony of Tower of Ivory schools at Denebak started with a parade by the school band. After the parade, the graduating class, who were adorned in academic gowns, stepped into the arena amidst pomp and celebration, after which were presented to the chairman on the occasion, Justice Stephen Okon, by the principal.
I present the graduating students to you, sir. I do accept that these graduates be awarded the senior secondary school certificate.
Speaking at the occasion, the chairman board of governors of the school, Udom Ekbudom, retired DIG, said the school was established with the vision of collaborating with government to bring up children who will not only be self-reliant but employers of labor. The school, he said, has laid a solid foundation which has resulted in nurturing and training of future leaders in a conducive learning environment with qualified teachers, equipped sporting arena, state-of-the-art boarding facility, and other educational facilities. Mr. Ekbudom, who was represented by his wife, Lady Dorothy Ekbudom, also mentioned that the school has recorded tremendous successes in curricular and co-curricular activities across the country, and that the SS3 graduates have passed JAMBs with high scores, thereby securing admissions to study professional courses in renowned universities.
We are poised to making a difference in the educational sector of the economy and the nation. To our graduating students, I must say, we celebrate because we deserve it.
In their messages, the Commissioner for Education, who was represented by Mrs. Helen Ante, and the State Chief Judge, Justice Stephen Okon, who chaired the event, commended the school for setting a pace in the standard of education. The duo, while congratulating the graduates for successfully completing their program, advised them to be determined to excel and grow into accomplished professionals.
May I use this occasion also to express my deep pleasure for the high standard and qualitative setting at this school, which has placed the school at an overwhelming pedestal.
We will appreciate the importance of having schools such as these in our country.
In a graduation lecture, Professor Effiong Johnson of the University of Uyo said the standard of education in Nigeria can only be restored when there is vision, dignity in academic, philosophy of pro-Africanism, and employment of seasoned teachers. The lecturer advised the graduating class to make hard work and smart work than watchwood.
By making sure that they ingrain the system and qualitative nature of academic that will bring up these little ones and respected and appreciated the whole group.
The principal, Mr. Udwage Kwere, said the graduating students have made the school proud and enjoined them to continue to go higher in their future endeavors. Award was presented to Demuk Bongudoidi, who backed the overall best graduating students for for 2014-2015 academic year. Itoro Victor Peters was awarded as the best in social sciences, Rosalind Sunday best in arts, Victor Enang best in management sciences, Samuel Nomfon in technology, while Itoro Som backed the best graduating students in vocational sciences. Prizes were also given to best academic students from JS1 to SS2, as well as the graduating class. The PTA members of the school donated books worth 1.5 million naira to the school and also presented gifts to the graduates. High point of the ceremony were prayers for the graduates and cutting of graduation cake, while the graduating class took to the floor in a dance. On hand to entertain the graduating students included a special farewell song, cultural dance, and the orchestra. Some graduating students and their parents in an interview attributed their success to God and hard work.
And I feel that I really contributed to our
I think he's like family.
I'm grateful to God, privileged to bring up a child on his behalf.
Iyagino Paul reporting.
Results of the April 2015 receipts examinations of the Nigeria Law School and the May 2015 final examinations have been released. The 70th anniversary of the Hiroshima atomic bomb blast has been commemorated with Japanese Prime Minister in attendance. The 2015-2016 Barclays Premier League kicks off Saturday. These and more on Channel 45 national and international news with Mercy Ekere.
The Nigerian Law School has released the results of both bar final receipt examinations held in April 2015 and the bar final examinations for regular students conducted in May 2015. According to the Nigerian Law School, out of the 2,736 students who participated in the receipt examination, only 1,648 were successful. Further breakdown shows that 40% of the students failed the examinations, 45% have general pass, while 15% made up the first class, second class upper, and second class lower. Japan has commemorated the 70th anniversary of the first atomic bomb dropped by a U.S. aircraft in the city of Hiroshima on 6 August 1945. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe attended the ceremony, which was held at the Hiroshima Memorial Park, where thousands of lanterns were released on the city's Motoyasa River. The Hiroshima atomic bomb blast had claimed the lives of at least 140,000 people, many of whom are believed to have died as a result of the horrible injuries caused by radiation poisoning over days, weeks, and months that followed. At the 70th anniversary commemoration, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called for worldwide nuclear disarmament while stressing the need for world peace. Egypt has launched a new Suez Canal shipping route which is aimed at speeding up traffic along the existing waterway and boosting the country's revenue. The new 72-kilometer project will run part of the way alongside the existing canal that connects the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. The new Suez Canal involves 37 kilometers of dry digging and 35 kilometers of expansion in a bid to help speed up the movement of vessels. The construction of the new lane of the canal began a year ago on the orders of Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The project is estimated to have cost $8.2 billion. Tube workers in London have been on a 24-hour strike which is due to end this evening. Trade unions have been involved in negotiations with employers of London Transport, but so far both sides have failed to reach an agreement over plans to introduce an overnight service from mid-September. Several thousands of people, including tourists, were left stranded as a result of the tube workers' strike, and being that taxis and buses cannot accommodate the sheer number of passengers. In Saudi Arabia, at least 17 people were killed after a suicide bomber targeted a Shia mosque in the Asiyu region where local security forces reside. It was gathered that the bomber disguised himself as a cleaner in order to gain access to the mosque where he detonated the bomb. Security operatives who were praying inside the mosque were the victims of the attack. Also, at least 6 people, including 3 policemen, have been killed in a suicide bombing after a lorry filled with explosives was detonated outside a police compound in the eastern part of Afghanistan. A military helicopter also in that country has crashed, killing 5 pilots and 12 soldiers. The Defense Ministry said the crash was believed to be caused by a technical problem. In football, the 2015-2016 English Premier League kicks off on Saturday, August 8, 2015, and will be concluded on May 15, 2016. Chelsea Football Club comes into the season as the defending champions of the 2014-2015 season. A total of 20 teams will contest the league, including 17 sides from the 2014-2015 season, while the remaining 3 were promoted from the 2014-2015 Football League Championship. The opening match will be played between Manchester United and Tottenham at 12:45 p.m. Nigerian time.
Meanwhile, the Athletes Federation of Nigeria AFN has named 23 athletes for the 2015 World Championship holding in Beijing, China, from the 22nd of August to the 30th this year. The athletes will be led to China by Africa's fastest woman, Blessing Okagbare. Okagbare has been listed to feature in 100 meters, 200 meters and 4x100 meters relay events. Other athletes expected at the World event, according to the Technical Director, Athletes Federation of Nigeria, Omaseye Nesiama, are Gloria Asumu, Stephanie Kalu, Deborah Odeyemi, Cecilia Francis and Ngozi Oumere, who will compete for 4x100 meters events. For the 400 meters and 4x100 meters, Patience Okon, Regina George, Tosin Adeloye, Margaret Etam, Funke Oladoye and Ruth Osai have been penciled down. The 5 male athletes listed for the event are Ogbo Ogbene Eguero for 100 meters, Peter Tega 200 meters, Tyrone Atkins 110 meters hurdles, Miles Okamo 400 meters hurdles, and former Commonwealth Games triple jump champion Tosin Oke. And with that we conclude our news this morning. You can also watch AKBC News TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC Channel 45 or on Facebook at AKBC, on Twitter at AKBC 45 or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. And now to end the news, another look at the top stories. Henceforth, all financial transactions and taxes, including the state government, involving the state government, will be paid into banks. Such payments are to be made only into the state government approved accounts with tellers and duly stamped printout forwarded to the State Internal Revenue Service. The acting chairman of the State Internal Revenue Service, Pastor Nicholas Akaraka, gave during his maiden meeting with assessment authorities and motor licensing officers in the 31 local government areas of the state. That's our package. Thanks for watching. Join us at 12 for more news.
the sea. We'll keep it real. We are hurt. We won't stop. We're bringing new sports, entertainment, baby. We are hurt. We won't stop, no. Together, let's do this. Stay with us. Don't touch it. We were born to make you happy, born to energize. We were born